Welcome into the Casual Gaming Conversation. I'm Connor. That's Nick. This is your weekly video game podcast from Ep.64. We're doing a little double shoot today. We shot the last podcast of what we've been playing just a bit ago. We went and got lunch. Now we're back talking about the all-powerful, ever-present Backlog. It's just always there, looming in the background. Your laundry list of video games that you have to get to, you want to get to, and it just keeps getting longer and longer. So we're going to have a short little discussion on that today. It's probably going to be a shorter podcast, but we went to you guys for a few write-ins so we could help supplement this a little bit. We're going to do we have our hot takes, and then we're going to do a graphically impressive games draft. We're going to talk about that this week. It's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, how you feeling, Nick?
Feeling good. All the new things that we have to talk about are since lunch. So I'm not going to go into the week, but what I will say is Toric has already happened by the time that this is going up. So thank you for coming out to Toric.
Everybody had a great time. The panel went fantastic. I didn't spend too much money.
Also, shout out to the Switch 2. That released also, that trailer,
Switch
dude.
2 announcement. PlayStation 7 announcement happened.
I see. No joke. We were living in reality until that sentence, because guess what? It will have happened by now. Probably not. Anyways, but yeah, it's a good day. Today's one of those days where I am at the point that, like, normally I try to gain momentum when I'm editing after our sessions. So like normally we'll finish up around 2-3 o'clock anyways after 1 week of shooting content. And then I will sit down and I will try to just edit something right away, really fast, just get something checked off. I'm going to nap immediately after this fucking podcast.
Dude, I feel great. I got over here. I got over here at 7:30, baby. I'm feeling good. We're vibing. We're hanging out. It's a lot of fun.
So I went to sleep last night at 2 a.m. After a party. I left the party at 1. Walked home. It's like a 25-minute walk. Walk home, hop in bed, get a little bit cozy, and then go and fall asleep around 2. And I set my alarm for 7:30, and I'm so excited for my alarm to just go off and get good of 5.5 hours of sleep. I slept a lot the night before to like just push through being hungover and everything. And so I didn't need a ton of sleep. But there's nothing worse. There's nothing worse, I can promise you, than going and waking up to a phone call at 7:20. So my alarm hadn't gone off yet from Connor being like, yo, awake yet? And I'm like, I am now.
We've had a few instances where Nick has not been awake when I've come over here. It's happened a couple times.
It's happened once.
Okay.
It's happened one time that I've not been awake.
But still, I wanted to let you know that I was on the way. Like I'm getting you coffee. We're about to rock and roll. Get in the shower, get wet and wild, and let's shoot some content, baby.
Yeah. Normally, my rule used to be, and I made this very clear to both Connor and Brady, it used to be, do not enter my apartment until our shoot time, because everything will be set up. I just need that extra time, that extra space.
What is 10 minutes gonna do?
Oh, dude, that 10. More importantly, I did get to take a little bit of a longer shower today, which was super nice and got me my day going right. And that was because Connor called me, so thank you.
Yeah.
But
you're welcome.
But
I'm
man,
the hero
oh man,
you deserve.
I was
Nick.
so tired. I just wanted sleep. So
I feel like $1 million right now. I'm gonna go home and play Call of Duty tonight. Play some Metaphor. I might take a little nap.
This is the case every single week, and the jealousness will never not be a little bit there.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Because Connor and Brady are so happy to be done with the content slate, even though we're having a bunch of fun shooting. And for me, I'm like, this is the fun part of my day. Like your fun part is going home to play video games and hang out with your wife and cats.
I do have fun doing this as well.
This is a lot of fun too. But for me, this is fun, and then it's work. The switch has to turn on, and it has to be all right. Let's figure out how, when, and where we're editing these videos. And so I love the editing process. It's very peaceful at times. It's very nice, but it's definitely work. It is the most work aspect of this entire job. So I'm not excited for that. So I'm going to try to make this podcast longer for you guys, just so I'm able to procrastinate that. No, but I'm excited to probably my plan is to finish this up, maybe do the shortest edit I have to do for the upcoming week. While that's sharing, take a nap, watch a little bit of football, ease into the night, and then edit a couple videos, play some COD, edit a couple videos, play some COD, and go from there. I probably won't hop in with the community tonight. I'll probably just enjoy relaxing, because when I'm with the community, I yap it up too much. So
I'm dragging you in. I'm dragging you in to play some matches with us. It's fun, dude.
Oh, I know it's fun.
Cash.
I know it's cash.
We're having a good time.
I just need to honestly rest. Like I've not
I
been
get
in a
it.
place where I'm resting too much. I mean, this weekend was just like I have a huge social battery, and trust me, I would love to go out again and have more fun, but I'm currently at my wit's end. I think driving really was the thing that took
Oh,
it
I
out of me.
can't.
6 hours of
That's
driving.
that's my kryptonite at this point. I
Yeah.
used to be able to do long drives, but now if I'm behind the wheel for like more than 2 hours, it feels like
I,
torture.
I did 3 hours after getting an oil change, which took like an hour and a half to get the oil change.
Yeah, oil
Um,
changes. Where'd you go, Valvoline?
yeah.
You have to go right when they open. That's
Yeah.
the only option. It's the same with the DMV. You go right when they open. You get it out of the way. Otherwise, you're going to be waiting in a line for a really long
Which,
time.
like,
Not worth it.
what normally I don't mind that. It was the waiting and then hopping in the car for 3 hours.
Oh, yeah,
And I
that's
was like, so to go and just be like, all right, I'm done. The nice part was when did a little Target run. I'm never gonna show up empty-handed, so I grabbed a case of beer for Sam, and I grabbed a new pair of sunglasses for my Top Gun outfit, and went out and had a great time there. But like then we had a great night, like one of those nights that is just like throwing out, super super fun. 3 hour drive is doable for a one night thing for me, but man, oh man, like waking up the next day and being like, all right, I'm just hopping
Do it
right
again.
back
No,
in
I
the
can't
fucking
do that,
car.
yeah.
I was definitely at the point where I was like, I love Sam, love his girlfriend Maddie, but man, that drive, I love doing it back to back was rough.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit tired. We're on hour 6 of shooting content right now.
It's flown by.
It's flown by.
Like I said on the last podcast, but I just texted Laura, like, I'm probably going to be home at around like 3:30. And she's like, dang, I guess that's what happens when you start at 8 a.m. Yeah. Which is weird because like that's when I usually like around when I'm getting into work. I get in at 7:30, so like it just feels like it's another work day.
Yeah, well,
So,
I mean,
really
this
is.
is another work day. Like this is the day that we do everything, and it's a lot of fun. But like the double shoot, normally for us, we double shoot, but we only have to shoot one podcast. This is a rare exception where we're shooting two podcasts.
one day.
And like if
We've only done this like twice, I think.
normally when we do this, it's a single shoot. Normally, we shoot the podcast, we shoot a single shoot of content, and then we do the bonus cast of
might be the most
gaming,
we've ever
or
done, yeah.
we do a bonus Q&A. But and like, there's that little extra fun. But like doing 2 weeks worth of TikTok content and 2 podcasts is objectively like a lot. So
Best to not dilly dally. Let's hop into the housekeeping. By the time you're watching this, we have Black Ops 6 community night. We're playing with the community a little bit on Monday streams on Twitch. Twitch.tv/co_op64. So if you want to play COD with us, that'll be the day this posts on that Monday. And then Nick will probably still be playing Mass Effect 2 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I will be playing Devil May Cry, the second Devil May Cry stream on that Wednesday. So tune into that if you would like, 7 to 10 Eastern Standard Time. Join the Discord to join our amazing community of over 1,800 community members. By the time you listen to this, it might be closer to 1,900. And get merch if you want to support the channel that way. We have t-shirts, hoodies, and mugs. Those links are in our link tree in our bio on our TikTok if you want to check that out. And finally, leave us nice reviews on Apple Podcasts. It gets the podcast in front of more people and gets it more out there. So we would appreciate you doing that. So without further ado, let's hop into the hot takes. Nick, what do we got?
my hot take for this week is about rhythm games and how we need to preserve the rhythm game genre and evolve the rhythm game genre. I think that in the past couple of years, it has been done very, very well by a company that we like to dunk on and joke about. Fortnite and Fortnite Festival having just a awesome slate of rhythm games and fun to be had in that genre is great, and we need more of that, and we need a more true rock band where things aren't getting price gouged for every single song they have to buy in that game. But the slew of songs that they've had over time, it's a lot of fun. And then we have things like Hi-Fi Rush, which is like, fuck yeah, this is like the best of the best when it comes to rhythm games. But I want to see Nintendo hop back in on the phone with something that is a true sequel to Rhythm Heaven. I want to see Harmonix really hop in on doing a full new release of a Rock Band or a Guitar Hero now that Rock Band 4 has done and is finished with their DLC songs. I want more of this genre. It is one of those genres that like I feel like gets put in the niche category, almost like fighting games or racing games or MMOs or just like things that are not your straight up action adventure, go straight forward. And the way that we can evolve and continue on making cool titles is go down that Hi-Fi Rush route, is go down a little bit rhythm mini games like Rhythm Heaven. I want more of that. We don't have enough of it. and it is a fucking shame. Like, why can't we get a little bit more creative and get a little bit more music and like have the merging between arts? I feel like, I know this is about to be a weird tangent, but like FMV and the way that acting works in the game, like Alan Wake 2 or Immortality, is so fucking cool. Let's merge these two arts of gaming and music and make something beautiful in the year 2024 and beyond.
It's interesting. I think that rhythm games are so well served for the arcade. If you go into like any arcade nowadays that is still going, there's a few in most cities, most towns, they have rhythm games that are like really cool and really interesting and really weird. They just have like, they need like a certain peripheral, like a DDR type scenario where like you need that like extra space, or you can't really play it always on just like a basic controller. So it's really well suited for the arcade. I think there will always be the rhythm game will always be served in that way, especially when it comes to arcades. But I totally agree. Give me another Amplitude, baby. Amplitude is so freaking fun. Give me
Thumper,
Res Infinite, Thumper. Like there's some great rhythm game type experiences out there, and I think that we need more of them. I love rhythm games. I was like I said, I was playing Guitar Hero 3 all last weekend. Had a blast doing that. And yeah, I love rhythm games, so I'm all in on this. So
fuck yeah.
Oh, excuse me. By the way, your chair is against that, and it was shaking the whole shelf, and I was scared that the whole thing was gonna I was gonna start falling off of it.
Yeah, dude, it's my big ass. You know, it's shaking. It's making. I'm a dancer. Like, come on, Connor. What's your hot take?
My gaming hot take for this week is that this might be my most scorching take I've ever said into a microphone. Fear this take. 7 out of 10 is a good score. I know. Crazy, spicy hot take right there. But this last week, I saw comments on your Silent Hill 2 review and the Echoes of Wisdom review that you gave an 8.5 for both of those games, and you got flack for an 8.5 being too low. That is wild to me that people are like, oh, that's not a good score. 8.5 isn't a good score now. 7 out of 10 is a good score. I think Echoes of Wisdom is a good video game, and I give it a 7.5. And I just want to take this moment to refresh everybody's memory. 5 is a nothing. It's just meh, whatever. I don't feel anything about this. Not good, not bad. 6, okay. 7, good. 8, great. 9, excellent or amazing. 10, masterpiece. That is our scale. And then everything below that, bad, terrible, basically broken, completely broken. That's the scale we're rocking on. And when it comes to like the stuff that we review and that we have interest in, there's very rarely a game that I think falls into that broken territory, but we want those numbers there, of course, to be used when we need them. If something like Gollum comes out and we need to throw around a 2 out of 10 or whatever. And then there's bad games that come out every once in a while, of course. So like I rated Killzone 2 earlier this year when I went back and played that a 4 out of 10. So there's definitely games that are lower on that scale, but we want to use the whole scale, but just understand that 7, if I give something a 7, I'm still, it's not like this rousing recommendation, but it's still a good game. And an 8 is like stamp of approval, great game. Like I gave Black Myth Wukong an 8, and I got flack for that, just being like too low. Or like most recently, like Dragon Ball Sparking Zero for IGN, they gave it a 7. It's like, okay, that's inoffensive to me. Like that's fine. Like that seems like a good score. Like, and I played Sparking Zero and I liked it, enjoyed it. But and I can understand how somebody like arrives at a 7 out of 10. Totally fine. So 7 is a good score. Remember that, guys. Like it's not that serious. 7 out of 10, rock solid score. Let's calm down.
So Connor's saying Silent Hill 2 is a 7 out of 10. That's what we're learning today. No, I love the take. Like I feel that on our channel, the way that we discuss games, the most important thing is our reasoning on how we get to a score. But if you don't understand the score in the first place, then you're not going to be able to connect the dots on the reasoning, and that is just ruins what the perception of a review is. If you understand that we believe a 7 out of 10 is a good game, then everything goes very well. I'm somebody that if you average out our scores, I normally lean a little bit higher than you, but like we've also had games that I review lower than you, and some very notable games, some like really awesome games I'm a little bit lower, like Silent Hill 2, like Resident Evil 2 comes to mind also. So it is interesting on the way that we review games and how we discuss them, but as long as you understand that we are 7 is good, 8's great, 9 amazing, excellent, 10 is masterpiece. And Connor and I don't give a lot of masterpieces. That comes like once every couple of years. A really special game comes by and does it.
Still feeling confident about that Astrobot 10 out of 10? Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I write it in stone. Like that is a 10. That's honestly one of those 10s that I'm like, I can't convince myself to go down anymore because it's so fucking good, and I will never have my opinion change on like that game. I don't know. So I could, but it's like I just can't find a way that it's not flawless, but it's just a fucking masterpiece. Like it's the definition of what a masterpiece is to me.
Yeah.
Even there's a chance Astrobot 2 might be better. That game is still just a masterpiece.
Give me an Astrobot 2, baby.
Oh my god.
Do you think we get one on PS5? Another Astrobot game?
No, I think that it's a launched PS6.
No, I think we're 3 years out.
Well, I think we're about 3 or 4 years, but I'm thinking that we're going to get DLC. So they're still working on this.
We're getting DLC. Full on DLC.
No. I think we're just going to get the levels that we're getting. So to the end of this year,
I think
2027.
Levels are done. They're starting the new game, I would imagine.
Maybe. I think it's launched. Anyways, but yeah, I feel confident in that. All right. Ready to get into conversation proper?
Let's talk about the gaming backlog. Something that I feel like weighs on the shoulders of all gamers. You buy games on Steam sales. You buy games on PlayStation sales. You go to the game store and see some games from your childhood, and they're $10. Oh, they're $5. Screw it. Let's pick up some games, fill out the shelf a little bit more. And they sit on your shelf and start collecting dust. So first off, I want to hear how you feel about the backlog, because like, does it feel overwhelming to you? Does it feel stressful? Like, how do you generally speaking feel about the list weighing behind you?
So 2 things. Something you didn't mention when it came to the backlog discussion is PlayStation Plus and Game Pass. Because that is a huge addition to the overwhelming sense of the amount of games that you have readily available to you, especially if you subscribe to either of those services, especially PlayStation Plus, even Essential. If you did this for a very long time and you added your games every month, you have a hell of a backlog. Something I did not do, and I definitely should have.
I try to remember. I don't remember all the time.
I don't remember unless it's bangers. Anyways, I generally take my backlog in the same way that I take my life, where I care about the important shit a lot, and I put a lot of like focus on the important stuff, but then I let a lot of the noise and everything else sort of just slowly go away. So the way I run my backlog is changed a lot over time. We'll get into that discussion, but the way that I feel about the backlog is like pretty easy breezy about it. I'm like, I'll get to the ones that I want to get to when I get to them. And the way that I run my backlog is changed and evolved over the years. But as of right now, it's very much just like I have a list, and those are my immediate games, and I feel good with that. And I don't have this overwhelming sense of dread that is this long laundry list of games, even though that there are hundreds and hundreds of amazing titles that I've not get onto, games that are extremely high on Metacritic, games that are well recommended amongst peers and community members, but I just feel like the noise goes away and the list gets trimmed up pretty easily, and I just sort of play what I want. I don't really feel an overwhelming sense of the size of the backlog ever weighing on me. What say you?
Yeah, I used to feel way more stressed about it, where I like, if I bought something and only like the best example of this is Christmas time. I would ask for a few games. Mom would pick up a few games on Black Friday, get them on sales, and that was really my time to like get a couple things. And maybe I got a little bit of cash from grandma and wanted to go purchase a game on the day after Christmas at your local GameStop. So I would end up with like 3 games at once.
Yeah.
I'm playing one of those.
Yeah.
And like, I would like the idea of playing 3 of them at the same time, or like I'll finish this and then get to the next one and then get to the next one. But by the time I finish that first one, something else is coming out that then supersedes the other 2 that like had already been stuff that I had gotten later than like the release date or whatever. And I just want to be a part of the conversation. So like, that was always stressful to me, that like, just time just always marches on, and getting the new release, it can feel really stressful. And now that we do this semi as like a job and wanting to hit certain things and review certain things, that does add another wrinkle to it. But that's why 2024 has been so good because the way that everything has been spread out, it leaves those opportunities for time to dip into the backlog and enjoy some older games or stuff that you missed, like The Last Guardian, which I missed in 2018 or whatever it was, 2017, and just getting to hop back to that and play that was great. Like, it was super nice to just check that off the list finally. And I've just become way more lackadaisical when it comes to how I handle things. I try to jump around from console to console and just not have like an overwhelming pressure of a list. And I want to jump into now how we handle it personally, because this has changed quite a bit for me, like where I was like just new releases, I just want to play new stuff. And then I had my like go-tos like Call of Duty, playing with friends, and now Valorant, just constantly just hopping back to that every once in a while when I don't have anything else to play. But I went through a period in 2020 where I made an Excel spreadsheet of games that I wanted to play, how long they were going to take, like hour-wise, like looking up on how long to beat, and scheduling them out. And then being like, by this date, I should be done with this game. By this date, I should be done with this game. And if I finished it earlier, it would like adjust everything. And I'm not going to lie, I freaking loved that. I had so much fun with that. That's when I played all of the Halos. I played Devil May Cry 5. I played Undertale. I played Shadow of the Colossus. And then The Last of Us Part 2 came out. And then Ghost of Tsushima came out. And that's when it kind of started falling by the wayside. But like, I had like a really well-tailored list of stuff that I wanted to get to, and I was sticking to it for a while, and it felt really, really satisfying to check things off. But it's just hard to sustain that level of organization when it comes to the backlog. Nowadays, it's really just where I can fit things in. I have this whole big collection of retro games that I want to get to. When I buy a retro game, it's usually not with the intent of playing it right away. There's certainly games that like I'm like, okay, I'm going to play this right away when I buy it, that I'm really excited for. Like, I want to get Silent Hill 3 really badly because I love Silent Hill 2, and if I get that, I'm playing it right away. I just really want to experience that game because I've heard great things about it. But I usually currently am playing new thing, old thing at the same time. And that's kind of how I've been rocking it. It's been a little bit weird with review season because all of October was crazy when it came to reviews, that kind of went by the wayside. But I'm thinking about getting back. I'm like, right now I'm playing Metaphor and Call of Duty at the same time. And it's like, can I throw a third thing in there and play something on the PS2 or whatever?
I mean, you just came off playing Guitar Hero 3 last weekend.
Okay, I guess that counts.
So that is the retro thing.
Well, it took me one day to do that.
Yeah, but that's the extra little spice, you know. That's the extra little retro goodness that you wanted there. But yeah.
So I like to just kind of have something that I can change it up with and play something old, something new. But I used to not be able to do that at all. It was one thing at a time, maximum, because everything else would just kind of get put on the back burner. So how do you handle it nowadays?
So I want to first preface it of talking about the old way I used to handle it, which was I didn't, because I didn't necessarily care enough about knocking things off of a long list. For me, it was what's the latest and greatest in gaming so I can stay up to date on that content, because I was always about the conversation with games, that I never really wanted to go back and play things unless it was going to add to a conversation. So if for me a backlog title of like going back would be a podcast I care about, going and be like, all right, we're gonna video game book club this one, and then I'd be like, oh, okay, I'll go back and play it. But if not, I was just playing the latest and greatest. Now hopping in and doing this job is giving me a lot more reason to go and play a lot of the greats. And the funniest part of this was I had to just take a moment. I have my list of games that I've beaten on the year, beaten/played and scored, meaning things like Helldivers 2 and Foam Stars. I played enough of those to put a score on that. I know you can't beat a game like that. 52, 53 games at this point in the year. How many games do you think I played off stream in the backlog that are not for review? So just off stream, just hanging out, and not on stream.
Like 10.
Like 5.
Really?
Yeah. Because
that's wild.
The issue that I run into is I stream non-fucking stop.
Yeah.
Like, and a lot of my weekends of these backlog games are on stream.
Yeah,
so
like
things like
Metal Gear
Wind
Solid
Waker,
4.
Metal Gear Solid 4, Metal Gear Solid 1 through 3, Kingdom Hearts 2, like some of these titles that are the goats of the goats. And then there are things that I played off stream, like BioShock Infinite, like Mario Odyssey, and like had a blast with. But for me, my focus, even still to today, is on review season. It is on the current content, making sure that we're providing the best product possible for all y'all. And the issue then becomes my backlog cannot be this long laundry list of games. So what I do is I have a backlog list, and it just says backlog. and it is about 10 games. And this 10 games is fluid. It is always, what do I want to play the most? If right now Connor was like, hey man, we got to play something real quick. Like, we got what we've been playing. You haven't played jack shit. We need to play something. This is the list I go to, and I'm like, let's do this. So some of these games, I'm like, these are going to be great for content. That will be great to stream and everything. So sometimes I pull off that list. But things like Ghost of Tsushima, things like Mario World, things like Donkey Kong Country 1, 2, and 3, things like Katana Zero, those are all in my immediate backlog. Because if right now Connor was like, let's do this right now, or hey, you got the weekend off work or the week off work, play something, like you got the free time, go and rock it, I'm ready to go and play any of those games with a feverish excitement. I've had certain titles on this list though in the past year fall off because I go and look and I'm like, actually, I don't really necessarily want to get to that right now. It's okay. And then I add something like a Modern Warfare campaign where I'm like, oh, dude, like that just sounds like so much fucking fun. Like, let's rock and roll and do that right now. And I love that list is ever evolving. I love that I don't have the pressure. Like, I have on this giant ass list of my like yearly doc, I have all the games I've beaten. I've got all the games from the previous year that I've beat, like from previous years that I've beaten. I have my ongoing thing. I have my backlog, and I have my top 10 that's also in flux. I don't know too. Is it still on there? I don't know. But I have this major doc, and I like that in this doc that is so overwhelming when I think about the year of gaming that I have. It's just 10 games. It's just 10, 11, sometimes 12 games that are just ever present, always excited to get to. That's how I handle it. It's resulted in two things. One, me staying organized with our content slate. And then secondly, our content slate keeps me organized to be like, okay, at any given moment, I can like play something and have fun. But also when I'm like, man, something like Katana Zero, when we were discussing what's happening next year, who's streaming what, especially for those first 3 months as the chaos of the new year is going to ensue, we wanted to try to get some of those questions answered. And something like Katana Zero got brought up enough times. And I'm like, throw it on that immediate backlog. Maybe I get to it. Connor wants to play that on stream also, so you guys might see Connor end up streaming that title. But like the excitement of playing something like that is there, and it's cool and it's exciting. So I want that on my immediate list. Keeps me organized, keeps the content machine well oiled. Because the other thing too is like, I don't think for stream people want me to play games that I don't aggressively want to play.
Yeah,
Mass Effect was on this list earlier this year because I was like, these are games that you guys, even if you're not necessarily super excited about it, I'm excited about it, and hopefully my excitement is palpable enough or for you guys to get like excited and energized for it. So that's how I run my backlog. I love the way I run my backlog. I don't have any stress or pressure or like existential dread when it comes to the amount of games that exist, because there are a fuck ton, but I just want to play what I just want to play, and this list of 10 games gets me home on it.
Well, how much does how long the game is factor into your backlog? Because that factors a ton into what I decide on playing. If something is super long, it changes like my entire perception of it, because it's like I can play 3 games and get more knowledgeable and more well-rounded by playing Jak and Daxter, Pikmin, and Castlevania Symphony of the Night, which are all like 10-hour games maximum. And it's like, or I can play Legend of Dragoon and spend 40 hours with that, and I need to really block out that time. And that plays a huge part in my decision making when it comes to deciding what to play. Also, another big part of this
Excuse me.
No, good. I didn't know if I should keep talking.
I don't. You've like waited on me. I'm like, stop waiting on me.
I didn't know what to do. I was scared.
It's a sneeze.
I know, but I didn't know how loud it was gonna be.
Yeah, they've heard us sneeze on content.
Yeah,
before.
no, okay, but I didn't want to like talk over it. Or what if they couldn't hear me?
That's a good point. That's a good point. Sorry, continue on.
Another thing that helps me narrow it down. So length, big factor. Also, what console I've played on recently. I have so many consoles and collect for so many different things, and I like to have that diversity and getting to new consoles and getting to new experiences. Play my GameCube, play my older stuff, my NES. I haven't played. I bought that NES a while ago. I haven't played a single game on it. Yeah. I plugged it in, made sure it works. Tried a few games on it, messed around a little bit, but like that moves it up the list for sure.
Yeah.
I've been playing a ton of PS2 lately. I gotta stop playing the PS2. Like,
but it's so good.
I need to stop. But that has the most games I own are on the PlayStation 2. And I do think that this is such a stupid like mental thing that like I have, but having everything on a shelf and being able to walk up to it and peel over everything and pull something out and look at the box art, it's inspiring for some reason to be like, oh yeah, no, I do want to play this, or like, oh, that looks interesting right now. Like there's something about having all of that physical media there that is so much better for me than a Steam game list.
People used to say that about Netflix, where they're like, I like having my movies because I like the physical choice of it. I don't want to scroll because then I don't actually end up choosing.
And you also have that. I know that like you're obviously buying your games, but they're digital at the end of the day. But like having that like stock of like owning the item, taking up space in your apartment, and you paid money for it, oftentimes a pretty penny for certain games that you're like, okay, I got to prioritize this and I got to take this out and actually play it and enjoy it. Like Valkyrie Profile like is definitely up on my list because A, I've heard it's amazing, and B, I spent $250 on it, so like I gotta get to that one at some point. So yeah, like I think that length plays a huge part in what I'm playing, and then also having these games physically and what I have played, what console I played on recently. When it comes to retro stuff, that's a big part of it. And when it comes to new stuff, it's really like I don't think it's possible to keep up with new releases, but for the most part, if I'm gonna play something on PlayStation 5, I'm playing the new thing, the new hotness.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to play something old that I missed, I'm playing on the retro console.
So to answer the two main questions, when it comes to retro stuff, because that's my shorter answer, as this channel knows probably very well, I don't really care. And I know that like I love retro games and I love a few of them, but that's not the sweet hit that I want when it comes to gaming. I want modern controls. I want modern combat. That is like I like the modern game sense.
I just don't feel like you can be as knowledgeable about modern things without understanding where they came from. It's like knowing history and talking about like modern stuff.
Totally. Yeah. And that's why I try to go and hop in. Like when I look at what I've been from this year, not from this year, and it's like 30 games. Like 10 of them are before the year 2000. Yeah. So I'm checking off the right boxes to get that nice history lesson in. But when it comes to like what I want to play off camera and just get excited about, it is something like hopping into Ori Will of the Wisp for a night and just being like, oh wait, this is really awesome, and maybe I'll get back to this, maybe I won't. But like I want modern. I always want modern if I get that choice. Secondly, length. Huge factor. It might be the biggest factor to us as an entire company at this point.
Brady's number one thing is how long is the game. That's all he wants to know half the time.
Honestly, it might be my number one. It's how good is it, and then how long is it.
So satisfying about adding to the list of games we've beaten in a year. Yeah. We've beaten like 50 games this year. That's wild. Yeah. I beat 27 last year, and I was like, I will never come close to this, and I'm about to double it. That's wild.
I think I beat 17 last year.
And a lot of that is because of short games. I was able to rip through certain things.
So that leads to the conversation of how I have to handle with the stream slate and backlog long games, which is the reason that I do a lot of streaming is it also forces me to play certain games, and a lot of them are longer titles. Something like Twilight Princess, and the way that we handle that as a company is like, that game took me on stream. It was like 38 hours of streaming in 3 weekends, but I was able to check it off because it was streaming content. The big pie in the sky dream this year of doing Elden Ring and like actually making sense of that, the biggest issue was the amount of fucking hours, because I don't have like we talked about it. How the fuck am I gonna get this done? And I was like, it's gonna have to be May, and we're gonna have to sit down, and I'm gonna have to every single night after stream hop on and play a couple hours and play till 1 a.m. and get the community involved, and we're fucking doing that whole thing. And then we to add on to it, I was like, let's also do a subathon, because I'm gonna need the motivation anyways, and this is gonna be a lot of fun, and it's gonna be hot before Erdtree. And that addition of making content out of it helps with the long games for me, because if I'm playing something off stream, most likely I want it to be short so I can get it out of the way. But like when I look at the titles that I played this year, some of them are fucking long in the backlog. Like some of these titles are 30-40 hour games, and a lot of that is because of the need to make content out of it. That addition helps a lot when it comes to the knowledge base and really trying to add to something. Like Bloodborne, I beat it off camera. Took me about like 25-30 hours to do, and it was a great 25-30 hours, but it was a lot to get back to and get through and push forward, and I had a great time with it. amazing game. Love Bloodborne, but it's also the hard part was like I would not have played something this long unless I knew we were doing the Soulsborne podcast right after it. Like that addition of making the extra content helps me get through the longer games in my backlog. And when it's a shorter game, it's way easier to go and put in the initial, hey, here's the time. Here, let's rock and roll this and go from there.
All right, let's hop into with some listener inquiries. I only took a few. This is like a shorter discussion. It was more about like our personal backlogs, but we wanted to hear from you, so I took like 4 or 5. So let's hop into a few of those. Having such a huge backlog is overwhelming, so I take 3 that I would realistically play and pick from them. I've also just taken everything I have downloaded and spin the wheel. Let fate decide. Both methods work great, and that's from Tender Human. I want to talk about the wheel for a second. Doesn't work for me.
Yeah, no.
You know why?
Why?
You're always rooting for one of the games to win. You always are. Like, it does help you make that decision, but like, I always end up being like disappointed. We like right now we have the Game Club. Game Club, awesome. Mikey puts it on. We vote, and then we put everything on the wheel, and then like. I feel like there's almost always the wheel is definitely the best way to do it. It's the most fair way, but there's almost always something that the most people want to end up playing, and then like we end up with BioShock, and then people are let down, and it's like, well, you can't really avoid that. But like if I was only doing my own personal wheel, and like I always want one thing to end up winning. You know what I mean? So
for me, the wheel doesn't work, and it's because it's the too many choices. You only want what you want right away. You don't know what that's going to end up being. So you're making, yes, you are, by doing the wheel, you give up the idea of like the stress of the backlog, but you also don't get the satisfaction of playing exactly what you want in that moment, and trying to find the right way to do that is difficult. We have our methods, but that is definitely a method.
I have a Google Keep note of the backlog of games or series I need to play. I will occasionally add in new games if one comes out. I have my wife print out a picture of the game case cover and put it in a jar. She shakes it up and chooses my next game. If it is a series, it starts with game 1 and the sequel is added to the jar. There are exceptions if a seriously good game comes out like Tears of the Kingdom or Elden Ring, Shout of the Erdtree, which is a day 1 play for me, and that's from DPCast90.
I like this a little bit more because you have the caveat of day 1 plays. That for me is a huge issue when it comes to the backlog. Is for me, I want the day 1 shit. I want to be in that conversation. I want to be in the zeitgeist. I want to have that conversation with Connor and y'all and listen to podcasts. Like, for me, the benefit of the $70 game that you get right away is, sure, you are getting it right away, so you're paying up top dollar for it, but also by paying top dollar, you get to be part of that conversation right away, and that's super fun. I think that like talking about games is half the fun of playing games, is having that conversation after the fact. And so I like that there's the day 1 caveat, but I also like this whole process a lot.
Yeah, it's funny.
You got your wife involved. There's gonna be conversations. You got a jar. Like, this is a whole process. It's a whole
process, and I think that adds a little bit more fun to it, a little bit more pizzazz to the whole process. Yeah, I like it. It's cute. It's fun. When it comes to handling the backlog, I've watched a few videos and read some articles about the topic. I've come to the conclusion that our backlogs are never going to be completely done or even a dent put into them, and that's completely fine. There's way too many games coming out and even more sales on the older games that are too good to pass up on. Most digital storefronts are just handing us free games monthly. We're better off just relaxing and enjoying each game as they come across our backlog in our minds. And even if we don't finish them, that's okay too. We can go back to them at a later time or enjoy what we got out of them. It's better not to look at them as tasks to complete or to get done as soon as possible. Just relax and game on, fellas. And that's from Zeke. I love this because of that last bit, especially about not finishing games.
Yeah.
You need to know when to drop them. I've had this problem for a long time. I for the most part try my darndest to finish games and stay laser focused, because and sometimes I don't feel like gaming. Sometimes I just don't feel like playing games at all. But like, once I start sitting down and actually playing, I start enjoying it way more. And then I'm like, I don't know why I had such a problem getting started. That's another thing. Starting games really hard, like starting a book.
Dude,
as well,
seeing tutorials and you're like, oh
my goodness,
God.
It's like starting like a whole new journey. That first step, just even booting the game up, is like maybe the hardest part of the whole process. So that's another factor in all of this. But knowing when to walk away is a huge thing, dude. Like
Yeah.
I was playing Shenmue earlier this year, and it's a game that I respect. I think has some really cool ideas, and like having a lived in world and feeling like knowing your space and feeling like you live in this town, I think is very interesting. His horrible voice acting, it's hilarious, but it's definitely a little bit dated. It's not for me, but I respect it. But I had to walk away because like as soon as you're not having fun, like he said, like it's about having fun and feeling relaxed and enjoying it. And if you let the backlog kind of like scream at you from behind, like as it's racing up behind you, it'll just stress you out. So like just leave it there and just have fun and relax. And if you're not enjoying the game you're playing, just throw it back into the backlog. Maybe you'll come back to it at some point. And even if you don't, who really gives a shit?
Like that's me with Ori earlier this year. But I will say, the backlog and the want to go into complete games is a powerful motivation if you want to actually use it as motivation in the way that I think you and I have this year of like really trying to cut down on certain things. But knowing when to fold is just so fucking important in this.
Yeah.
And when it comes to gaming is fun. It's a hobby. And if you're having like a lot, like especially with longer games and longer journeys that you can go on. For me, if I'm playing a bad game and it's only taking up like 4 hours of time, I'm like, who fucking cares? Like I can just do this and get through it anyways. But like honestly, something like Mass Effect 1, I could have seen myself again like 6 hours in that if I wasn't streaming and been like, all right, I'm good. Let's go to Mass Effect 2. Just like finish it. And like I don't fucking care. Like I just want to move on.
It's so interesting how video games have this like feeling of accomplishment when it comes to finishing them, that like it's just why I think video games are the best medium, period. No disrespect to movies and shows or whatever, but
I think books also have a similar sense to it.
Books have a similar feeling of accomplishment, but finishing a video game, it just feels so good. Like you're like, I really did something with my day. Whereas if I'm just sitting on the couch just horizontal all day watching TV, it's just like it doesn't feel the same. It just doesn't. There's certain shows that kind of do feel that way sometimes, but yeah. I think for me, I have so many games that I would like to play, either that I bought or on Game Pass, but my work-life balance is so out of control that I can't seem to make myself want to play. Work has become so overwhelming with staffing issues that I can rarely make myself relax, and I just end up carrying my stress home from work and just end up laying around. I would like to be able to play more since I recently graduated from college and actually have the time to game, but can't make myself want to unwind. I actually took time off from work for the upcoming Dragon Age release so I could unfocus from work and actually enjoy a game that I've been excited for. Your streams have actually helped me a lot then when I'm trying to relax, so thank you guys for the entertainment throughout the stressful weeks. And that's from Emily Grace. And oh man, as somebody who has a relatively in-depth job, especially right now when it comes to the busy season, that feeling of like, okay, like sometimes you just got to get over that hump. Like we're saying with that first step, you just got to start. Once you start, it's fun, but like it is so easy to slip into just scrolling on your phone. I totally get that mentality. Happens to the best of us. Does that happen to you?
Oh yeah. All the time. I think Metaphor is a prime example where I was texting with you and I was like, dude, I like you texting me is like giving me the excuse to not play right now. And so I'm texting and then like that distracts me for a moment. I'm like, especially something like Metaphor, you discussed on the last pod, a lot of reading, a lot like you really have to focus. Thank fucking God it has the log feature and you're able to go back.
Had to use it a couple times.
Holy hell, that's been helpful. But yeah, I think that like the need to go and be pulled away to do something is difficult. I want to go and touch on something else in this read, which was the like taking time off work to go and play a game.
Love that too.
It is the most amazing thing ever because
explaining it to coworkers that was hilarious.
Dude,
it's the
but
best.
the mental health aspect of it is so fucking good because you are saying I'm not only taking time to go and like take a day for myself, but you are taking time to do something that you will enjoy. And I feel like when it comes to hobbies or taking time off for a trip or an event, often you go and you do the thing and you're exhausted. You need a vacation from the vacation. That gets brought up all the time. I did not need a vacation from the vacation after Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I was like, this is the fucking best time of my entire year. And like enjoying that, having fun with a game like that. you're taking, I assume you said that for Dragon Age, I assume that you're taking that Friday off, maybe even also Thursday, maybe Monday, something like that. And just being able to sink into a world like that, an RPG where there's characters and it's fantasy and you're just able to be glued to the couch for 10-hour play sessions. That shit's awesome. And it really does help. Oh, two things. One, like I said, mental health and just taking care of yourself and like having fun and doing something solo, but it also helps you have that accomplishment feeling of actually cutting away at a very large task and lets you shrink it about in half.
Yeah, I have very limited PTO because I'm newer at my job. I've only been there for a couple of years, and this year I took off for Rebirth for one day, and I took off for Rise of the Ronin because we had to review it for another
that
day.
Review was something else.
Yeah, we had to beat that game in 3 days. So yeah, I totally get it. I love doing it, honestly, but writing in like your reasoning, you don't have to do it, but I love asking off to play Final Fantasy. Oh no, I did it for Final Fantasy 16 last year too.
Oh damn.
Well.
I mean,
so funny.
Fun story. When I started up at the company I work with, they do a floating holiday, but you have to explain your floating holiday. You have to let them know, hey, this is what I'm taking off every year. And for me, it was the Game Awards. And I'm like, yep, the day after the Game Awards. And they're like, that's really stupid, but okay.
Right.
But like, it's fun. I love being nerdy and having people enter the world a little bit and be like, hey, they're happy. Good for them.
My backlog strategy is that I will play a long game and a short game at the same time. For example, right now I'm playing Persona 3 and Silent Hill 2 Remake. I feel like this keeps a long RPG feeling fresh. Was wondering if you boys have any weird backlog strategy as well. This is from Cody's boss. I have a very, very similar one when it comes to long games. If I'm playing something long, I need to be playing something short at the same time. Whether it be like a forever game, like a Balatro type situation, just have that back and forth, like going from the JRPG to Balatro or Valorant or whatever. But for the most part, or playing the new thing and the old thing, like we said earlier, that's another big factor on how I kind of keep that manageable. So yeah,
for me, it's not the new thing and the old thing. It's the forever games and then what I'm currently playing for review or content. So for me, the forever games are Valorant. I mean, Connor knows this. I've been playing some Balatro off stream and just like when I have TV on, like that's the perfect thing to relax and have football on in the background, have an episode of a sitcom running. And then Forza Horizon 5, I hop into about once a week, once every other week. Tekken 8 is another one of those. I just want to play a couple matches. Having like that balance of those sweet little hits and then the long stuff really comes in and it kicks your ass and takes a lot of time. That's fun but difficult to manage. But I think that keeping it fun by having those short, small hits is super important. And it makes the longer experiences a little bit more easy to get through because you're like, all right, I'm going to play this thing for a few hours and then I'm going to go and hop in and play a quick game of Valorant or play a game of Tekken.
Last write-in. I got my 5-year-old son into gaming this year. Now my gaming is seen as quality time with my son. My wife is suspicious of my ulterior motives, but hasn't said anything yet. And that's from Mama Marcos, which I just love, which ties into us because I'm in a very committed relationship. I've been with my wife for over 10 years. But now I can look at video games as work. So it counts as I have another motive to be playing video games. Sorry, I got to play this for review, honey.
Yeah.
like just is what it is. I'm sorry.
It is really funny to have I like think that the conversation is a little bit different than the consumer of this podcast if you don't work in like video games because our backlog is something that is work. Like we look at it as work. When Connor and I started up this year and we had the conversation of like what do we expect from this year when it comes to gaming, what I personally believe I have to do. I gotta finish a fucking Zelda. Yeah. I gotta finish a Souls game.
Yeah, Nick is newer to games than I am, and he has catching up to do in a different way than I do. Like I've played hundreds and hundreds of games. I've been playing games since I was 5 years old. There's still a laundry list of shit that I just have no knowledge about that I need to get to that like is just weighing on the backlog. It just is what it is.
It just is where it's at. And so I love though that like, yes, it's always funny to talk to people who are like, I don't understand how y'all are super knowledgeable about this. It's like, no, we haven't played the fucking Witcher 3. Like, neither of us have beaten the Witcher 3. Yeah. Like, we talk about that all the time. But like, neither of us have beaten this fucking game that's a behemoth. There's so many of those types of games out there.
Yeah, Yakuza,
like,
just totally missed it.
And we'll see you on a subathon. Like, that's the type of vibe that we've said to the audience for a long time. But I love that the understanding is, We also, though, have work and life outside of this. So we still have a backlog. We still have a presence of not just wanting to do this for work, but we also want to play the games that we want to play.
And it's funny, if we ever do this, end up doing this full time, like, sure, we might have a little bit more time to play games, but it's like it'll probably be filled with other work things.
I'm a firm believer that like this is my year every year. Like this is what it's going to be. It's going to be reviewing a bunch of new shit. It's going to be playing a bunch of games on stream, and then occasionally when there's something I really want to get to in my backlog, like for me, Bloodborne is a prime example of it, where I'm like, sure, we could have done this on stream and like that could have been a thing over the years, maybe a year or two down the line. But I just want to get this done and I really want to play it. Especially we got to make a little bit extra content out of it, have a little fun reveal on a podcast. But like for me, I was so invested in the backlog and trying to hop in and have a bunch of fun with what I exactly want to do at any given time. So it's really funny. At the end of the day, I believe I've reviewed maybe one or two more games than Connor this year. Connor's played a lot of more retro stuff this year.
More,
like just the fucking lapping me. And then when it comes to obviously the stream slate that I do and a handle for the channel,
you having double streams is like clutch.
It allows me to get through a lot of stuff.
I can't play anything long because I'm not going to play something that's 30 hours over the course of 6 months.
We did Hollow Knight, and that was the extent of it, where we're like, we will do 30 hours. Literally, if it's over 30 hours, I'm like, you don't want to do that. Like that's
playing the Sly Cooper series for like 5 months.
Well, the nice part was it was 3 different games. Like you were progressing at least. But it was Sly Cooper. You want to know something I think about pretty often? There was a point this year. You still were coming over here to play fucking games.
Dude, that was such
wild.
a game changer. Oh, and another factor of the backlog that we've kind of talked about on streams and stuff, if you want us to play a game, you better start championing it because it will happen probably eventually. If you yap enough about something, then we will probably end up playing it.
The way that I do stream schedule is, number one, what do me, Connor, and Brady want to play? Like that is like, if there is something that it gets brought up enough in meetings or just general conversations, I write it down, we put it on the list, we figure it out. Number two, can we do something fun or cool? Like, is there some way to like add to the fun that we can be having? Something like Mario Wonder when that came out last year, and it's like, let's do costumes and like let's have fun with this and add some extra stuff. Mario World when we were costumed up earlier this year and like going through that whole process, having a lot of fun. And then number three, when it's those two things fail, when I'm not too creative or we can't like no boy is championing out a fucking game, I'm like, so-and-so really wanted us to play this game, and then we fucking do it. Like, that is how we get through it.
There's an intersection.
Yeah.
That's when it's really key. Yeah. Like, I've always wanted to play Hollow Knight. I haven't been able to beat Hollow Knight. People have been asking me to play Hollow Knight. We play Hollow Knight.
Yeah.
Nier Automata, I want to play Nier Automata really badly. People have been asking me to play Nier Automata. We're going to play Nier Automata eventually. Like, that's just how it goes, whatever. And when that intersection happens, that's perfect.
Yeah, it works really well. I'm not going to allude to something, but, like, Brady wanted to play something that intersected with a fan request, and that's going to be brought up on something like Co-op 64 Day, where like those type of intersections are fucking awesome and they're important, and they do help with the backlog quite a bit. Like streaming for me is one of my favorite things to do in the company and everything, but like it is a fucking blast to go and just X things out of my backlog, because the best part is when I'm doing 2 games up for review plus I'm playing a game on stream. That's where it's like, okay, there's certain weeks this year that I have beaten 2 or 3 games. There was one stretch where I beat 4 games in 10 days. And I was like, that doesn't fucking happen without streaming hundreds and hundreds of hours. So it is fun. I love it. I love streaming. I love to, like, though we will not have a moment like this for a very long time, but like Elden Ring, like I played the game that I played the most this year probably is Elden Ring. I played like 130 fucking hours of Elden Ring this year. Games like fucking FF7 Rebirth I played 50 hours of, and I plan on playing a lot more towards the end of this year.
Yeah, I spent 200 hours with that. That was the big dog for this year.
FF7 remake, or sorry, FF7 and FF9. FF9 took me 50 hours to play.
Yeah,
like, fucking a lot of Tetramaster. A lot of Tetramaster. But
for me, when it came to beating multiple games in one stretch, I beat Stellar Blade, Gatru Man, and Mega Man 2 in one weekend.
Oh yeah, I remember that weekend and being like, holy fucking shit. And then there's like a lot of these games are 10 to 20 hour bangers, but like doing Zelda's has been a huge fucking thing this year for me.
Yeah.
So addition of what we're doing in the games we're playing and everything, it is a lot of fun. It's great. It's great for the content, but like, I love running through the backlog. I love checking things off. And the feeling at the end of the day of checking something off the backlog is one of the best feelings in gaming, period, bar none.
Yeah, love the backlog. I love backlog years. I know that 2024 has turned out to be a great year, but like with the stretches, the times of being able to dig into the backlog has been legendary. I'm not looking forward to next year when it comes to the backlog. It's not
happening.
Yeah.
It's just not happening. Connor had a moment June and July where he's not on review basically for 2 straight months. And I have a couple of, I had Elden Ring Erdtree, and then I had NCAA, and then we were kicking into August where we're doing and handling things together again. And I was just so jealous. I'm like,
I'm just playing whatever I want.
I'm jealous, but I'm playing like
Erdtree,
like one of the best experiences I will ever have in gaming. Fucking Radon. Anyways, I'm loving this entire game and this entire title, but like, I can't do the backlog and do that at the same time. So, but then I was still able to get a couple games under the belt in that time window and everything. Something that like we haven't done enough of, and it will happen more next year, is Connor on group stream actually on the sticks.
Yeah, I did God of War this year. And that's
you did. Like I think Brady did 4 or has led 4 games. I think I've led 3 games, and I think you've led 1. Yeah. And then as this year closes out, I'm leading the last 2, because if you want to take a stream off, or if Brady wants to due to work, that's totally fine with me. So going and having that understanding of like, there will be more times to hop in the backlog. I love that group stream can be backlog time, especially with bros and hanging out and all of us crossing something off. We've had some great experiences this year where we finished up Super Smash Bros. Brawls campaign, and then we all added to our list, and there's a lot of fun there. But yeah, I love going through this process with y'all. It's a lot of fun.
All right, let's hop into the draft. Your intro on this bad boy. I get first pick.
You get first pick. I'm so curious to see where you go.
You know exactly what I'm going for. I think so, at least.
Okay. It's visually impressive. That's what we're calling it?
Graphically impressive games.
Graphically impressive. Great. Today, we are drafting graphically impressive games. Connor, you have the first pick.
With my first pick, I'm going to go with Horizon Forbidden West. This game, I don't even like that much, but it is undeniably the most graphically impressive game I've ever seen in my entire life. When it comes to scale, when it comes to how gorgeous the environments are, when it comes to some of the facial animations, it's ridiculous. Like, you can see every pore on every character's face, and the fact that it has this level of graphical fidelity and is as big as it is, it makes it the most impressive graphical game of all time, in my opinion. So, Hellblade 2. Let's hear it, Nick.
With my first pick, I'm choosing Hellblade 2. By far, the best graphical game of all time. The Hellblade 2, you can say what you want about it. I think that it's a great game. Connor disagrees. Audience of members either agree or disagree. There's a lot of range when it comes to the scoring of this game, and I understand that. But the one thing that everyone agrees with me on is that this is the best looking game ever made.
I don't agree with you. Everyone. You can't say everyone. I'm right here. I'm literally right here.
Everyone with a brain.
Okay.
Oh, man. No, everyone that, like, I think it's easily Mount Rushmore. I had Forbidden West as my number 2, but I think that there's a leap. The only reason that Forbidden West is close is because there's so much of it that it's great, but pound for pound.
Forbidden West looks better than
No, it does not.
Hellblade.
No, it
yes,
does not. Oh, okay.
Yes, it does.
All right. With my second pick, I'm going to choose Demon's Souls, which is still just fucking insane. That game came out in 2020 for the remake, and it's like, how does it... The next generation's fucking here.
And I still think it's the best looking PS5 game, maybe.
Maybe.
Other than Horizon.
Okay. You don't even think Horizon's best because you think Demon's Souls is better.
They're very close.
All right. You want to know what's better than both? Hellblade 2.
Okay. With my second pick, I'm going to pick a PS4 game that still looks better than half of the PS5 games. I'm going to pick The Last of Us Part 2. This game looks fucking ridiculous. Naughty Dog just is top of class when it comes to visual fidelity. They've set the bar every generation. Uncharted 2 looked fucking ridiculous, and then Uncharted 3 looked ridiculous, and The Last of Us looked ridiculous, and now The Last of Us Part 2 looks absolutely insane. So The Last of Us Part 2 is my second pick. With my third pick, it really depends on how you look at scale and how much that factors into this. But when it comes to the overall vistas and when it comes to the attention to detail, Red Dead Redemption 2, baby. That game looks ridiculous. Come on. Like, some of the vistas in this game, the skylines, look crazy. And for how big this game is and how detailed it is so graphically impressive. Number 3, Red Dead Redemption 2.
I'm going to go with the scale pick next. I did have RDR2 higher than this, so good pick. But with my next pick, I'm going to choose Elden Ring. There are certain moments that you walk out in Elden Ring and it is just so impressive. And then with the Erdtree DLC, there are certain moments where you have the walking out of the vault moment. But for Elden Ring base game, you walk into Limgrave and you go and you look around and you're just like, what am I looking at? Yeah, sure, it's not every single detail is perfect. Like the grass might not move perfectly with the wind that's going right. But when you just take the scope and how beautiful it is just bar none one of the best looking games of all time. And then with my next pick, I'm going to choose something that's not hyper realistic. I'm going to choose Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart.
You may make my last pick easy. Thank you. Okay. I was between 3 and that was one of them.
Okay,
so.
Good stuff. Yeah, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart is ridiculous. It is still, in my opinion, one of the showpieces of the PS5. There's a reason that they bring it up for the PS5 Pro demonstration, because they're like, this game already looks like the fucking best shit ever, and we're going to make it look a tiny bit ever.
Dude, the fur on Ratchet and Rivet, oh my God, dude, the fur detail.
The processing power of the PS5 and the way that the portals are able to run and like still have this crazy fucking fidelity. The first time that they showed this game off, I was like, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't fucking make sense. Insomniac is on a different level with their graphic fidelity, and the games are so fucking fun. But that game, with the art style it has and the way that it looks, is ridiculous. So give me Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart with my fourth pick.
With my fourth pick, I'm going to go with the game that isn't mentioned on here very often, but is probably the showpiece when it comes to racing games. And racing games have always been showpieces for graphics. We're going to go with Gran Turismo 7, baby. Gran Turismo 7 looks ridiculous, is ridiculous. Such a pretty game. Shout out Gran Turismo 7 with my fourth pick. With my final pick, I'm going to go with the dark horse here. I'm going to go with Dead Space Remake. This game looks ridiculous. And when it comes to the visual fidelity of just like kind of how the reflections are on Isaac's spacesuit and the necromorphs and how they look and just the darkness of this spaceship is so scary, dude. And when I think of horror games and like things creeping in the darkness, I think of Dead Space and I think of stuff creeping up behind me. And when it comes to the visual and sound experience, Dead Space just does it the best, dude. It's so good.
There's a game that does visuals and sound a little bit better, and I picked it first overall. Anyways, I'm between a couple. I'm in a weird spot for my number 5. With my final pick, I'm going to choose Cyberpunk 2077. When that game initially released, if you played it on a super nice ass PC, it was fucking stunning. And the updates that they've had since then and the way that it runs currently, this game is a movie. This game doesn't make sense on how good the graphics can actually be in Night City. That is my final pick.
I had it up there for sure.
Death Stranding was one that I'm like, some of those overshots are like just they're ridiculous.
Stranding 2's trailer looks so good. Some of those shots, dude.
Yeah.
The moon shot. Ah! Oh my God, I can't wait. Give me a release date. Game Awards, baby.
I think so.
Yeah.
Miles Morales. I understand that people could point to Spider-Man 2 being a little bit better. The way that game looks and it uses snow.
Spider-Man 2 looks like shit.
Yeah, I think it has bad moments. But
why does it have weird?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Miles Morales, though, looks fucking awesome. The snowy New York landscape, and I'm like, holy shit, the way that they're able to pull off the ray tracing in that game. That game was initially supposed to be a PS5 showpiece, and it is. Yeah. Like, it looks ridiculous, especially with some of those neon purples and greens that are in.
It does look quick.
Certain like skylines. It's unbelievable.
I do want to retract my statement about Spider-Man 2 looking like shit. It looks like shit for what it should look like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's just some moments where it's like this moment looks really, really good, and this moment looks clearly not very good. Like at the start of the game too, like when Peter is in the classroom, I'm like, why does this look so like muddy and gross? It's
odd.
strange.
I also think that it's partially the Peter redesign. I just think it looks a little bit goofy.
What a bummer.
But lastly, and this was the one that I chose, I chose Cyberpunk instead of this. Champion of Light, Alan Wake 2. That's still one of the best fucking looking games I've ever seen in my entire
ridiculous.
life.
I wish they could get it running at a smooth 60 or whatever with ray tracing. That would be nice on PS5 Pro, but it's just not going to happen.
But I mean, having the ray tracing added to that game is just going to be ridiculous. Yeah. Some of those reds in the night place, are you fucking kidding me? Like, there's going to be sequences, the hotel sequence in that game with ray tracing, the way that light is going to be distributed throughout like these hallways. Are you fucking for real right now? Like, I think Alan Wake 2 is ridiculous already, and the fact that there's a world where it can get a little bit better, it's almost like Demon Souls, and like the way that like it's like games can't look better than this. Like it's over. It's fucking over.
Why do you even want them to look better than this? Honestly, I had Ghost of Tsushima on there, but here's the situation with that game. It's more about like art design rather than visual fidelity. It's a gorgeous game. It looks really good, like the animations and everything, and like the way everything looks is really solid. I don't think it's like top of class when it comes to visual fidelity, though, in my opinion. Shadow of the Colossus, though, I think looks fantastic on PS4.
It has some weird moments. I understand the scale and the scope and like the way that certain desert like biomes look and certain but I don't think it's on this list yet. Like if we were to tier list it, you would probably fight for S, I'd probably fight for A, and that would be a chat's choice type of thing, where I feel like all the games we mentioned thus far are easily S tier. Another one I want to shout out, sometimes I try my best not to be annoying, you know? Sometimes I try.
Forza Horizon 5?
Forza Horizon 5. Yeah. Like that game, it is ridiculous.
But Gran Turismo looks better than Forza Horizon 5.
1A, 1B.
Hey,
but
one of them is an Xbox.
I think that Forza Motorsport also looks.
Forza Horizon 5 is a Series S game. Yeah. Sorry. I was like, is it a late Xbox One game?
No, it's a Series X game. It came out 2021. But yeah, I think that like the way that Forza Motorsport, even this past year, 2023 released, like that game also is ridiculous. My PC was like crying trying to run that thing because I have an older PC. Like that game's fucking awesome. So the Forza series is one. Also, I want to shout out two more fighting games: Street Fighter 6, and more importantly, Tekken 8. Yeah. Tekken 8 looks ridiculous, and the way that some of the water physics work, and so like just like this is showpiece. Like this is so fucking cool. The first trailer that they had in that game, and then realizing that it's in-game footage, you're just like, holy fuck, dude! I had like a vein bobbing out as I was losing my mind there over Tekken 8.
Talk to me about graphical fidelity when I have the PS5 Pro and we're talking about Rebirth. I think Rebirth is gonna look great. It just looks like shit.
Well, I think I ran it on graphics mode and it looks great. I think that like on graphics mode that game looks really great. It's just the performance mode. Performance mode, it makes it look like a late PS3 game. Like
for me, performance mode is the mode. That's like the base for most games. I'm going for frame rate.
For me, I want the graphical fidelity, and I just want my game to be beautiful because I noticed the difference. It's one of those things of once I switch, it's hard to switch back down. So I'd rather start with it on 30, especially now that we're in the next generation and we're having the midterm update with the PS5 Pro. That update is still going to leave certain games on 30. So until everything's going to run on 60, I want my base to be running on 30 and just go from there. But I really I can talk about good looking games all day, but we do have other things we have to do today. So we calling it there.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us for this casual gaming conversation. We'll be back next week at Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you so much. Peace out.